lotion.
Now it is time to get your lotion off my ocean.
Okay. We would like to give you a very warm welcome to episode 4 of our podcast, Get Your Lotion Off My Ocean. Today we will be diving deeper into how badly the common sunscreen chemical oxybenzone affects the ocean and the different ecosystems within it.
In our last episode, we talked about how oxybenzone causes coral bleaching and makes it so they are not able to handle the warming of waters as much as they used to. Now we will expand on that knowledge by connecting it to other organisms that get negatively affected by oxybenzone. According to a report by the International Coral Reef Initiative, corals typically bleach at 81.7 degrees Fahrenheit, but oxybenzone, that is found in most sunscreens, causes corals to bleach at 78 degrees, which is typically a non-bleaching temperature.
First, let's do a quick recap on coral reefs. Coral reefs are the most biologically diverse ecosystem and provide food for 500 million people. Even extremely low concentrations of some chemicals found in sunscreen can cause coral bleaching. Scientists study the effects of coral bleaching caused by sunscreen by sampling water exposed to chemicals and water not exposed to these chemicals. 10% of coral reefs are threatened by the chemicals in sunscreens, specifically oxybenzone.
Oxybenzone is toxic to more than just corals. It's toxic to algae, sea urchins, fish, and mammals. It inhibits embryonic development in sea urchins. It can even result in gender shifts in fish, in which male fish take on female attributes while females have reduced egg production and embryo hatchings. It is terrible. It literally is shifting this fish and all of their families and the schools of fish.
Toxic chemicals such as oxybenzone, octioxide, and many others cause harm to not only coral reefs, but can also cause genetic mutations in the DNA of marine life. Some example of this would be impairment of growth, impairment of photosynthesis. Chemicals can accumulate in the coral, causing it stress and eventually die, and can cause infertility in the marine life.
In addition to this, it also completely wrecks the green algae by impairing their growth and the photosynthetic process. This is detrimental because the algae is the base of the whole entire food chain and ecosystem. What happens to the algae ends up affecting everything else in the ocean. We need to take initiative to protect this side of the ocean first.
Circling back to coral, we know that 14,000 tons of sunscreen are washed into the ocean yearly. This number is so large that it can affect the coral reefs on a global level. Not only does it cause coral bleaching, but it can also harm the reproductive part of corals. This makes it harder for them to live and harder for them to reproduce, causing the amount of them that live to go down astronomically.
That is why it's so important to use safe sunscreens. One great example of a truly reef-safe sunscreen is the Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen, which is even good for sensitive skin and has an SPF of 30. There are many more that we named in our previous podcast as well that you can look back to refer to.
There are many alternatives to sunscreen, brands that do not contain harmful chemicals, and we just need to work together as a society and work to use only them. It is so easy to help make the problem of coral bleaching smaller.
One thing you can do as an individual is make the switch to reef-safe sunscreen. As we continue to mention, it is so important. Another thing you can do is write to your local politicians, both on a city, state, and national level. Finally, what you can do is make sure once you visit the beach, you say something before you see people putting their hands in the tide pools.
If you want to know more about how you can make a positive impact on the world, then please listen to our other podcast where we talk about oxybenzone and brands of sunscreen that do not harm the ocean that would be safe for you to use.
Yes, and with that, we thank you for listening to our podcast and helping us make a difference one person at a time. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends.
Now that you all know how detrimental coral bleaching can be for marine ecosystems, we hope that you will make one simple change to your lifestyle, and that is to use reef-safe sunscreen. This is such an easy and simple change to make, causing a positive impact on the earth.
Now it is time to get your lotion off my ocean.
Okay.